Picture this. You're making $30 an hour. On paper, that's doing well. Your parents are proud. HR called it a competitive salary. But let me describe your actual life. It's the 17th of the month. Your paycheck hit 3 days ago, and somehow it's already gone. Rent took half. Groceries are up 30%. Gas is flirting with insanity. You're saying no to dinners you want to go to, while wondering how a job that pays more than you ever imagined still leaves you anxious at 2 a.m. You do the math in your head, and it doesn't add up. How am I working full-time and still feel broke? Here's the weird part. The system tells you you're earning $30 an hour. But if you actually run the numbers, you might be earning closer to 4. And if you've ever looked at your income and thought, I should be further ahead than this video is going to make a lot of things click into place. If you're new here, I'm Brian, and I spend way too much time pulling apart the numbers behind normal life, work, money, time, and asking why things feel harder than they're supposed to. This channel is about exposing the math nobody shows you, so you can stop feeling crazy and start making smarter moves with the same resources you already have. And if this video helps you see your job or your paycheck differently, hit subscribe and like it. Not for the algorithm, for future you. Here's the fundamental lie that nobody tells you. Your hourly wage isn't your real earnings. Society has spent decades teaching you to focus on revenue, the gross number, without thinking about profit. Your paycheck looks nice on paper, $31 an hour, $65,000 a year. You're doing the responsible thing, going to work, showing up, being productive. But here's the problem. Your job isn't just your 40 hours a week. Every hour you spend commuting, grooming, buying professional clothes, or decompressing after a stressful day counts as labor too, even if HR doesn't put it on your timesheet. Think of it like a business. Imagine a company that sells $65,000 worth of widgets each year, but they spend $20,000 on rent, $5,000 on supplies, $10,000 on marketing, and another $15,000 on employee perks just to keep people showing up. Their profit isn't $65,000. It's barely a fraction. Looking at revenue without subtracting expenses is how companies go bankrupt. Yet that's exactly what we do when we focus only on the number in our paycheck. This lie is reinforced by schools, parents, and even popular finance media. Get a good job, work hard, retire comfortably. Sounds reasonable, sounds safe, but it's built on incomplete math. So let's do a brutal audit. Let's see what your real hourly wage looks like when you account for every hidden cost, every unpaid hour, and every psychological toll. Meet James. He's 28, makes $31 an hour, works full-time in an office, and follows the responsible adult playbook. On paper, he's fine, $65,000 a year, standard benefits, occasional overtime. Step 1. The obvious deduction. Taxes. Federal, state, Social Security, Medicare. Let's conservatively say it takes $7 an hour off the top. That drops James from $31 to $24 per hour immediately. That's your first invisible cut. Step 2. Direct work-related costs. James drives 20 miles each way to work. Gas, maintenance, insurance, roughly $4,000 a year, or $2 an hour when spread over 2,000 hours. Add professional wardrobe, dry cleaning, and work shoes, $1,500 a year, another 75 cents per hour. Now James is looking at $21.25 per hour. Not terrible, but already lower than the $31 you imagined. But we're only halfway through the equation. The next categories, convenience costs, stress-related spending, and hidden time, are where things start to get dark. Before we go there, notice the pattern. Each layer of reality chips away at that headline wage. Just like a business with hidden overheads, your take-home revenue doesn't tell the whole story. Now we get into the costs nobody labels as work expenses, but absolutely are. Category 3, the convenience tax. Because James is gone all day, he buys lunch instead of cooking. Let's be conservative, $12 a day, 5 days a week. That's $3,000 a year, or $1.50 an hour. Add coffee runs, take out dinners because he's too wiped to cook, the occasional Uber when he's running late. Call it another $1,500 a year. We're now at $19 an hour. Category 4, decompression spending. This is the money you spend not because you're irresponsible, but because you're stressed. Drinks after work, streaming subscriptions, weekend shopping as a reward, maybe therapy, maybe vacations you wouldn't need if you weren't burned out. Again, conservative. Let's say $2,500 a year. That's another $1.25 an hour. James is down to $17.75 per hour. Now category 5. This is the big one. Time. HR says James works 40 hours a week. That's a lie of omission. Here's the real breakdown. 30 minutes each morning getting ready in work mode. 1 hour commuting total. A lunch hour he can't actually use. 30 minutes at night just decompressing enough to function again. That's 3 extra hours a day devoted to work. 5 days a week. 15 hours that never show up on a paycheck. So James isn't working 40 hours. He's working 55 hours a week. That changes everything. Now take his annual take-home, after taxes and expenses, roughly $37,000, and divide it by the actual hours worked. About 2,860 hours a year. Let's do the real math. James doesn't make $31 an hour. He doesn't even make $20. His real hourly wage is about $13 an hour. And that's before we even talk about opportunity cost. Before we talk about compound interest lost. Before we talk about the side projects, skills, or rest he never had the energy to pursue. If we factor those in, conservatively, that number drops closer to $8, maybe $6, sometimes even $4 an hour. This is the work scam. I know that number hits hard. It feels depressing, almost insulting. But the reason we do this math isn't to make you sad. It's to make you angry, and more importantly, precise. Because once you see this clearly, you stop chasing higher revenue and start asking a better question. What's my margin? And that single shift changes everything. Once you see your real hourly wage, you can't unsee it. This idea comes straight out of your money or your life. Money isn't the currency. Time is. Money is just how the system denominates it. So that $100 pair of shoes? It's not $100. At a real wage of $13 an hour, it's 8 hours of your life. At $8 an hour, that's more than a full workday. And suddenly, purchases feel different. Not moral, not good or bad, just expensive in a way you can actually feel. This is also how golden handcuffs work. As your income rises, your lifestyle inflates to match it. Your revenue goes up, but your margin stays the same. Sometimes it shrinks. You're making more, but you're not keeping more life. That's the trap. And once you see it, you stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, is this worth the hours of my existence? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The system relies on you not doing this math. Because doing this math requires energy, focus, a clear head. And if you're exhausted, stressed, and running on caffeine, you don't audit your life, you cope. So the cycle continues. You work long hours. You spend money to make work tolerable. That spending forces you to keep the job. You end up trapped in a loop of needing the job to pay for the things you bought to tolerate the job. That's not a personal failure. It's a structural design. A system that runs on tired people doesn't want you rested enough to ask better questions. But the moment you see the loop, it weakens. Let's be clear. The answer is not quit your job tomorrow and live in the woods. The answer is efficiency. You have to start treating your labor like a business. Businesses don't just chase revenue. They protect margin. That means cutting work-related expenses before cutting joy, reducing time costs, remote work, shorter commutes, batching errands, attacking convenience taxes with systems, not willpower, choosing lower stress roles even if the headline pay is smaller. A person making $50,000 with a high margin often has more freedom than someone making $90,000 with none. Profit beats prestige. Every time. Here's your homework for this weekend. Do a real hourly wage audit. List every work-related cost. Every hour. Be conservative. Then divide your actual take-home by your real time. Write that number down. Put it on a sticky note. Somewhere visible. From now on, every purchase gets translated into hours of your life. Not to shame you, to free you. Because time is the only currency you can earn more of. And if you know someone who's always tired, always stressed, always saying, "I make good money, but I don't know where it goes," send them this video. We're all in the same trap, but we can math our way out of it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.